Hello, everyone. Allan Knight here with another session of Night Talk. I haven't been around. That is my guest, but I'm going to take a second to well, she's going to introduce herself, but I want to say some nice things about her. Very excited about our topic today, because over the last 20, 30 years of me doing public speaking and training, I've met a lot of people over the years who are book experts. They teach people how to write books. And every time I meet someone like that, we always talk about potentially doing something together. Why? Because you in our audience, if you're a thought leader, if you're someone who desires to make an impact on the world, this is the place to be during this interview. Why? Because if you're going to make an impact, you have to leverage yourself and scale yourself. And that means you want to write a book. Everybody has a book in them. And we're going to talk with our expert in a second about that. At the same time, you got to communicate. Even if you have a book today, you've got to get on podcasts, you got to get on radio, you got to get on television, whatever the means be, and communicate verbally. Well, I'm the verbal expert in teaching communication skills, and our wonderful guest, Marjah Simon, who I've met recently, is the writing person. As a matter of fact, we're going to do some wonderful collaboration projects that are coming up soon, so you really want to watch for them. Without further ado, hello, Marjah. Thank you so much for coming.
Hey, Allan. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here with you and with all of your amazing audience, and especially talking about a topic that is so near and dear to my heart.
It's really, really important. So let's start off just for fun stuff. You're located where? In Germany? Half in Germany, half in the States, right?
Yes, I'm based out of Germany, and I travel to the US regularly all the time. And so that is my co-location, I guess you would say. But I have clients worldwide. I work with clients everywhere: Australia, New Zealand, the US, on the East Coast, on the West Coast, Europe, everywhere.
Good. So we're going to talk in this session, as you know, partly about writing of books, which is your expertise. We're going to talk about how to communicate effectively, which is my expertise. But let's spend a bit of time on you. Take a minute or two, just so that we get the context of who you are, that you're not just someone who's decided a couple of months ago you're going to help people write books. A bit about your background and how you came to be this expert in this field.
Thanks, Allan. That's a great question. I have been writing my entire life. Ever since I was a child. Although I don't look like it, I am actually going to be 50 years old this week.
No.
Yes, yes.
Unbelievable.
Thank you. And so I have literally been writing for decades. And most notably, I am an attorney by profession. And so that definitely took my writing to an entirely another level of precision and impact. I have written my own books, and the first book I ever wrote was over a decade and a half ago. And it was such a painful process. I went with a traditional publisher, and I spent a lot of money and got no help, no coaching, no guidance. I was in my head, in my ego. I felt inadequate. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't getting the structure that I really needed to get success. And so it took me 10 years to write and publish that book.
Wow.
And I thought, and it was painful all along the way. And so it was like this weight that was hanging on me, because I had this beautiful message of hope that would help people in their lives that I really wanted to get out, but it was stuck. That's how it felt. And so I said, I'm never writing another book again. So I say, never say never. And what I did was, I just said, okay, that was a terrible experience. I never want to do this again. And unfortunately, that is the experience that a lot of people have when they're looking to become published authors, to share their story, to share their legacy, their wisdom, the information that they have, the little things that they have figured out that'll really impact people and make a difference. And And so people just avoid it. They shy away from it, or they start it and they never finish the journey. And so fortunately, I had a contrasting experience. Fast forward a few years, and basically I had what I can only describe as a spiritual download of a book. I was woken up out of my sleep with words just pouring through me, information just, and I just started capturing the information and writing. And this went on for, I think, a couple of weeks, 3, 4 in the morning. And when it was done, I was like, oh my gosh, that is incredible. But again, I didn't have a coach like myself behind me, and I was alone in my head. And I thought, I'm not publishing this. And I hid it away for 2 years. And one day when I said, you know what, I really am done being an attorney. I really want to serve in a way that is impactful, that's meaningful, and stop doing a job that is actually not in alignment with who I am anymore. And so what I did was, when I left that job, I heard, yes, it's time. And to me, I knew it was talking about that book that was hidden on my computer for 2 years at that point. And I said, okay. And I published the book, and it became a bestseller in 3 countries, in the US, in Germany, and in the UK. But the most important part of it was I suddenly had a team, resources, people, experts all around me, supporting me, making it fun and making it easy. And so what I was like, this is the beautiful experience that people should have. So to put an exclamation point on that journey, what I did was I reverse engineered, how could I make this the experience that people have? And I did that and created the AWA method of becoming a published author without having to write a word. And Author Writers Academy was born, and we've since published. And so far, thank goodness, because of our algorithms, our system, and what we're doing, we've been able to help people become published authors, authors that were afraid to publish, who were stuck, who were never going to tell their story or share their wisdom. And now they're best-selling authors.
That's a wonderful story. Now, the thing that intrigues me so much about what you're doing is that, as you know, it's a wonderful thing to write a book. I've written a book, and my experience was the same thing. I took years and years, and I'm never going to do it again. That's why I'm glad I met. That's another reason I'm happy I met you. But as you can appreciate, a lot of people sit there knowing that down deep they have a book to write. Probably everybody has a book to write, you would say. And yet many people procrastinate. There's probably a multitude of reasons why they never write a book. The thing that I love about what you offer is not only do you have the capability of taking somebody by the hand and say, here, we can help you A to Z write your book, but you also have the collaborative book that I'm so attracted to, that you and I are going to do some things to. Now, tell me, in my mind, the thing I love about the collaborative book, because there's probably a lot of people in this audience that are or will be listening to this and are saying, I love to write my book, but I just don't have the time, and it's a pain in the ass. And the collaborative book, to me, gives a person a chance to get their feet dipped into the water, so to speak. And the collaborative book, and we could talk about it to some degree if you want, but maybe 15, 20 people who have expertise in a similar field have something to say. For example, we're going to do something on relationships. So what's going to happen is we're going to have 20 authors, so to speak, collaborate in a book where each one of these people writes their own chapter, which highlights their expertise, their experience, and then together it's marketed with everybody contributing their time and energy, and it's reaching a lot of people. And then a person, once they have done that, then they might feel ready to do their own book once they got their foot in their door. Tell us a bit about that collaborative work approach.
Yeah, and it's, again, we've made publishing your own book fun and easy, where you just show up, have a conversation, and we have an entire team supporting you, doing your cover, your marketing, your editing, your writing, everything in your authentic voice. Now, some people may feel like, maybe I want to build up my self-confidence. Maybe I don't really have the financial means to do a full book for myself right now. And like you said, maybe I just want to get my feet wet and do it even faster. And so the best way to do that is to be part of, again, teamwork makes the dream work. A collaborative book basically is a team. It's a team of like-minded authors who've had experiences that overlap. And so what we do is we bring all of your individual stories together in a cohesive way that actually elevates you, what you're doing, your vision, your mission, your purpose in the world, and it brings you into a team where all around the world, people are sharing your story. So you become not just your own book, but a part of like 20 people that have ecosystems way beyond themselves that they're sharing with. And so think about that. So you have you and all the people you know, and imagine 19 other people sharing your story with everybody they know, and everybody they know, and everybody they know.
Right. It's a group effort, and it immediately gives you a greater audience and platform to speak with. So there are many, many benefits just for fun, because a lot of people that may hesitate in writing their own book because of cost, they might not be able to afford it at this time. What are we talking cost difference without being so specific, just an estimation? What's the difference between somebody coming in as a group of 20 people? What would be the cost for them if you give it an average versus if they were to embark on writing their entire book by themselves?
Right. So yeah, becoming part of a collaborative effort could be about 1/20th of the cost of writing your own book. And so that's a major difference. And then, like I said, also, instead of having to um, make time over the course of months to do the full book right now, you could actually have a quick, immediate impact. We'll give you the structure, the outline, the guideline, the questions, and any coaching or support that you'll need to actually do your one chapter.
Oh,
And so it's kind of like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so we're actually only going to give you one bite of the elephant, and it's even faster.
That's cool. So if we started today with a group of 20 people,
Mhm.
what are we talking time-wise? Are we talking 3, 4, 5 months realistically from the moment we start? Because people still have to write their chapters. There has to be some polishing, editing, graphics put around it, whatever. Are we talking 3, 4 months basically?
Yes, yes. But it's not 3 or 4 months out of their lives. Again, we have an entire team doing all of the hard work for them. And so what we're looking for them to do is, like I said, just answer the questions, share a couple of photos of themselves so we can create amazing graphics to highlight them and who they are when the book goes live and goes across the world. Um, and so all they have to do is tell what they know about that topic. And it's so beautiful and it's so easy. The collaboration books that I've done in the past, I absolutely thoroughly enjoy it because we get to combine different stories and perspectives in a way that really support and elevate one another.
Sounds beautiful. Now, one last question is, there are a number of people who do what you do. And I know people hate this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If you were to give us 3 reasons why you are somewhat unique in the field and why we would choose you to do this work on the book versus someone else, what would those 3 reasons be?
Well, number one, I have to say, people may do the topic of what I do, but they don't do it the way I do it. As a lawyer, I use my attorney skills in a very special way that took decades of honing and experience. And I bring that to you so that I can see what questions actually need to be asked and where the holes and disconnects are and to connect those.
Right.
And so I help you to represent yourself in the highest possible way. And so it's like having an attorney on your team writing for you in your authentic voice. And that's the second part. So many people say, "Oh, you're a ghostwriter." I say, "No, I'm not a ghostwriter." And while there are some that are good, the experience that many have shared with me is with ghostwriters, they take your idea, they do some research, they slap some stuff between covers, call you a published author, and that doesn't serve anybody except for ego to say you're a published author. It doesn't capture your authentic voice. It doesn't capture the wisdom and the ideals and the experiences that you actually had, and it doesn't flow in a way that captures a reader and makes them want to connect with you and work with you and learn more about you. I do that. My team does that.
Right.
And so that is a huge thing. And number three, it's fun. We actually have fun doing this.
Good.
Most of my clients have become lifelong friends, dear family, I even call them my brothers and sisters, because we have bonded so much through this process because it's so authentic, it's so real. And I love introducing and connecting people to people that should know each other. And so again, it's about that expansion of and elevation of one another. I love what I do, and I love what you do, Allan, in helping people to communicate verbally. You're doing it verbally. I'm doing it in the written word. One of my friends, Renee, and I, we have a book launching very soon where he talks about body language communication and so there's so many different ways to communicate, and all of them together are so important.
Yeah, that's what I love about working with you potentially is we're going to decide that pretty soon, do our first project together. But I just love that we complement what you and I do. I obviously help people more from a confidence point of view, how to speak more clearly, how to communicate more, how to listen better, how to understand personality types, how to navigate conflict in communication, how to present yourself with maximum enthusiasm and passion, how to get into the inner, I call it the Zen zone of calmness and clarity and intuition, because when you're living in that state, you're going to communicate better. So the verbal communication and the writing communication, what a perfect match we have, I say.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I know how important it is to communicate verbally in a way that you are truly understood. I've spoken on stages around the world as a paid professional speaker. I love doing that. I love seeing the impact that the verbal word makes on audiences. And I love taking what is expressed verbally into written form because now it goes generationally. It
Right.
goes worldwide. It's not only the one audience that's sitting there listening to it, but it's something that's captured forever. I mean, how many books have we read that we're reading right now of people from generations ago, and their words, Dale Carnegie, yeah, still impacting our lives,
Right.
still helping us to think through things, make decisions, understand what we may not have understood before.
Right.
I love being a part of that.
Fantastic. So anything else you want to say about me? You want to ask me a couple of questions about the verbal aspects a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. I love what you're talking about, helping people to deal with conflicts. One of my degrees is in conflict resolution and diplomacy. And I love that. So my ears perked up when you mentioned that and that you're doing that for people. Why is that so impactful for people in their verbal communication?
Well, here's the thing. When I first started teaching selling skills, communication skills, I learned quite quickly that at the beginning I was teaching them, if someone says this to you, here's how you can respond. And it was primarily communication tools and techniques and concepts. But I learned very quickly that although I was helping people, it was limited. And that 80% of the time or more, people had issues on the inside. And it made me realize that, in my humble opinion, maybe 15, 20% has to do with content and technique, but a good 80% has to do with what oozes out from our inside. So if our inside is the rational thinking mind, the emotional mind, the physical body, and then connected to that, I call it the Zen zone, the calm, clear mind. I call it the Zen zone so we don't get too religious about it. But Zen zone means calm, calmness, clarity, centeredness. That if we could tap in to that centeredness consistent, more and more, like I like to believe I'm living, because I always wanted to walk the talk. I didn't want to just be a teacher. I wanted to be a master, and being a former Zen monk, I learned how to tap into that Zen zone. But when I went into the world, I became a basket case when I got triggered in my relationships, my work. So I learned quickly that I needed to develop for myself and others a system, a formula that if you tap into will help you communicate with maximum confidence, maximum clarity, maximum impact from the inside out. Because if you don't work on the inside, the emotional, psychological crap, baggage, turbulence, I call it, is going to mix in with the positive stuff. So to be dramatic, you'll appreciate, just as a joke, Marjah, I remember back when I was 21, big shot, going into a lounge, seeing some girls that I would love to walk up to that young lady and ask her to dance. Took me a half an hour to get the guts to walk up to her and to dance. And I walked up and my knees were shaking. And I said, you wouldn't want to dance with me, would you? And she says, no. And then I walk away. And what do I say when I walk away? Never again. And I'm pissed off and I'm angry that I did it. And I might choose the next 10, 20 years not to take a chance and go up to someone I'm attracted to. That's how powerful the negative crap is inside us. So if the negative crap is in there, it's going to influence how we speak, the quality, the content, the enthusiasm, the joy, the freedom. So to make a long story short, I developed a formula that if you go through in 60 to 90 days, gets you into that state of being in the Zen zone, inner freedom, inner peace, inner tranquility. And when you're living in that inner tranquility, there's so many benefits. You're calm, so you're not stressed out. Intuition rises from within at a deep level. Intuition is different than thoughts. Intuition is wisdom from depth. And intuition starts to play a role to guide you. And now you're able to take consistent action because you're willing to do all the things you need to do to make it happen. You overcome procrastination. And then ultimately you start mastering your communication skills at a high level, because once you're living in the zone, you've taken care of the inner confidence. Now it's about mastering your communication skills to round out all the inner mastery and external mastery. And when you're living in that state and you combine it with the books you write with Marjah, I don't know why I said Marjah. Now you got the whole package. So now you've got your books in written form, and you got your speaking in speaking form, and it's a whole package effect.
Yes, and I love that you're doing that. I think that you bringing your experience as a Zen monk into communication is so powerful. It helps people to tap into parts of them that they may not even be aware of right now, but that will actually bring their verbal communication to an entirely new level of connection, of impact, of just being authentic, and in confidence. That I absolutely love that you're doing that.
Yeah, because people have to remember, look, you have your book, that's great. What are you going to do now? You're going to get out there and communicate to the world in whatever ways you do that. Well, guess what? If we haven't mastered ourselves, we're going to get triggered, because you'll get triggered from negative experiences, and positive stress will also trigger you. So unless you could think on your feet, unless you could pick yourself up by the bootstraps and get back in the zone and communicate and recommunicate and sort of present yourself with that kind of confidence, it's going to affect everything, your personal relationships, how you feel about yourself, your family, your ability to market yourself. But that's why the combination of the two are very critical for a total success. So I'm very excited about what you and I are going to do together.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I'm excited as well. And, one of the things I talk about with all of my clients are the multiple ways to market their book. And one of the many ways to create multiple streams of income from becoming a published author is in the speaking realm, is getting on more stages, more people that are published authors are much more likely to get booked, to get paid, and to get paid higher rates than people that are not published authors.
And online, I agree with you. And even video, like we're doing now. I had a woman call me 2 weeks ago who's written a book, and she talked to me on Zoom like you and I are talking to me, and I could hardly hear her voice. She was timid, she was shy, nothing wrong with that. But if she wants to present herself on video, this is like television,
Yes.
We're on a TV show right now. We better
that's why that was it, Ronald Reagan. That's part of why he became president, right? That's when television came out. And so they talked about it on Back to the Future. Remember that scene? It's like, oh, no wonder Ronald Reagan became president. You got to look good on television. It was a joke and it was funny, but there was actually some truth to that.
Absolutely. So to wind this up, I can go on with for hours with you. To wind this up, anybody who wants to get in touch with the lovely Marjah, how do they do that?
Well, the best way is to reach out to us at awaforlife.com, and it's www.awa4life.com. awaforlife.com. It's right here, right there, and over my shoulder. And you can set an appointment with my team, and they could give you more details. And if you are interested in learning more about becoming one of our collaborative authors, Allan and I will be sending out information very soon. So reaching out to Allan or myself and letting us know, hey, I'm interested, and we can put you on the list for the people that we reach out to become one of the chosen authors.
Can't wait to do it. If anyone wants to get in touch with me, simpleallenknight.com is my website. There's a contact page. You can send me a note. You can send an email at allan@allenknight.com or book a call with allan.com. I do a 45-minute evaluation complimentary. And also for those of you that not only interested in taking my program, which is a fast track program to get you communicating at a high level, some of you want to be trainers, coaches yourself. We have a certification program, so make sure you talk to me about that. Marjah, I am so glad finally we were able to get online. I can't wait to start our project together, which is going to start really soon. So watch out for our project. It's coming. We'll let you know.
Yes, let's do it. I want you to be a part of this. Your voice matters. Your story matters. What you have to say matters. Let us help get it out into the world.
I love it. I love it. Any last words of wisdom?
Those are my last words of wisdom. It's time. Yes, you are ready.
My last words of wisdom, the best thing you could do in the next couple of weeks leading up to the new year, get fed up. Get fed up with mediocrity. Raise the bar. God knows the world needs a lot of better leaders, more and more of us leaders that are kind of heart-centered. We care about people. We want to get out there. We all have an important message to do that. I'm not 21 anymore. I'm not even 41 anymore. You'd be amazed how old I am, but it doesn't matter because I got a youthful spirit. And as long as I'm here, I'm going to try to make a difference in the world.
Well, thank you, Allan, the Zen monk, for making a difference. My life and in the world, and I'm so happy that we're going to make a difference together.
Look forward to it, Marjah. Take care, everyone.